بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. I know I'm a week late, but I got a lot of emails from a lot of different people asking me to make a video on Ramadan and how to manage everything during it. And honestly, I get it because Ramadan tests your time management skills better than anything that I've ever seen in my life. Because when you're managing your time between Salah, Taraweeh, reading Quran, studying, gym, classes, and every other thing while still trying to get 8 hours of sleep, it becomes really impossible. But that shouldn't demotivate you because Ramadan is the best time to build discipline, get rid of bad habits, and stay on top of your deen and your dunya as well. So in this video, we're going to look at a couple of different things. We're going to look at how you can manage your time efficiently in Ramadan, and also what is the best time to study, what is the best time to go to the gym, and also how you can build good habits in your deen so that inshallah you can keep them after Ramadan ends as well. Now, before we get into any of that, let's look at the main purpose of Ramadan and why is it so important for us Muslims. The purpose of Ramadan isn't to, just starve yourself from Fajr to Maghrib because there's no benefit in that. Or, even like stop sinning while you're fasting, but as soon as you're fasting, you go back to your same old deeds. It's not what Ramadan is for. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran in Surah Baqarah, verse number 183, I think. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Tattakun or taqwa means being mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, what does this exactly mean? Everything that you do, whether that's, studying or going to the gym, if you remember Allah in it, and if you change your intentions, just tweak your intentions slightly, you can just end up getting a lot of barakah from it. Now, let me explain to you what exactly I mean. Now, let's say you go ahead and sit down to study. If I just change my intentions to I'm studying right now so that I can become educated and then help go and give back to the poor or whatever. Or if I'm going to the gym and say, I'm going to the gym for the sake of Allah so I can get a stronger body and help my family and whatnot. That small intention change can actually end up getting me a lot of good deeds. So still the same thing that you're going to do regardless, whether that's, studying or going to the gym. Now you're getting rewarded for it. And it doesn't just apply to studying or going to the gym. It applies to every single action that you do. Whether when you think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and change your intentions to please Him, you're going to automatically just end up getting a lot of benefits from it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says again in chapter number 2, verse number 185, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. So please take Ramadan seriously because this is the month where the Holy Quran was revealed for us Muslims so that we can take from it and become better people and worship our one true Lord. So please don't mess around this Ramadan. Lock in, whether that's in your deen, dunya, and just build that discipline so that you can carry it once Ramadan ends. You can carry that same tempo of being, very close to Allah, doing good in deen and dunya. So that is our main goal for this Ramadan, is to build good habits, get closer to Allah so that we can continue that once Ramadan ends as well. Okay, now that we know the main purpose of the month of Ramadan for us, let's look at the main topic of this video, which is how you can study during Ramadan, because I know it can get a bit hectic. So let's look at how we can do that. The first thing that you need to realize is that your schedule pre-Ramadan and your schedule during Ramadan are two different things. So if you were studying 5 hours before Ramadan, there's no way you can expect to still study 5 hours now because there's just going to be so much different stuff going on, whether that's tarawih, that's suhoor, your iftar, praying, reading Quran, whatever it may be. You're just busy with a lot more religious stuff now. So one thing you need to keep in mind, if you were studying 5 hours before, you do not need to still keep studying 5 hours in Ramadan. You can shorten it down to maybe 2 to 3 hours. And those 2 to 3 hours will be as productive. You won't necessarily, if let's say you're losing the 2 hours from 5 to 3, you're not really losing any bit of knowledge. If you use the correct study techniques, those 3 hours are more than enough as well. So personally, what I would do in Ramadan is study in 90-minute blocks. So I would study 90 minutes in any part of the day and then 90 minutes again in another part of the day. Now, let's look at the best times where you can be studying, because I know the same time you used to study, which was, let's say from 4 to 7, is now busy with praying. You have Asr, you have Maghrib, and then you have Iftar. And then after Iftar, you obviously have maybe an hour tops, and then you're going to go for Isha and Tarawih. So what is the best time to study in this month? I'm going to be very real. It is very subjective on you. What time works for you? What time is the best for you? But I'm still going to give you a bit of examples on, different time periods where you can study. But at the end of the day, it will all come down to you, your commitments, what works best for you, what gives you the most energy, what gives you the best ROI. The first time that we have is after Tarawih. So for me, it's 7:30. I go to Isha and Tarawih. I come back at like 9:30 or 9 to 9:30. So after that period till like I sleep, which is like 12 probably, I can study. That could be one of my studying blocks. Another one is midnight to suhoor, which you're sacrificing sleep, but I get it. A lot of people do this because their whole family stay awake till suhoor. So if that's the case and you're not sleeping, which sleep is very important, which we'll come to later as well. But if you're not sleeping and you're staying awake till suhoor, I would say that is a really, really good time. You're gonna have energy because you had food and whatnot. So that time period could also work very well. Another time period is before Maghrib, so before iftar, and that is my least favorite because the like 2 hours before iftar are like the most low energy periods of that day because you've been fasting all day. You have no carbs in your system to give you energy. You're just waiting for iftar so that you can actually get some fuel inside of you. So that honestly before Maghrib would be my least favorite time to study, but if it works for you and if that helps you pass the time, then go for it. That it's all up to you, as I said. Now the best time for you to study is hands down after suhoor. So you go suhoor, you pray fajr at the mosque, and you come back and then you study for like 90 minutes or 2 hours, and then you go to school or whatever it may be, or if you don't have school then you can go to sleep again. That time is because you've already had food, you've already had water, you just woke up. So the morning period is the most productive period of your day. So if you're studying in that period, you're going to get a lot more work done. And I would personally schedule, so as I was saying, you could study in 90-minute blocks. So if I were to do it, 90 minutes after suhoor would be the peak time for me to do past papers, active recall and stuff like that. And then after, like, if I'm studying, let's say after Tarawih, I could study, like, let's do flashcards or something like that. So the more effort work should be done after suhoor, and the less effort work should be done after like Tarawih or maybe even before iftar, if that works for you. Now the best way to manage your time during Ramadan is to basically block out the times where you think you're going to be busy. So those times can include like Tarawih, praying your normal 5 salahs, reading Quran, suhoor, iftar, because you're for sure you're going to be busy in those times. So I would personally get out a Google Calendar and block out those times. Then from that I would see what times are left. I would also schedule my sleep. So I want to get at least 7 hours of sleep in Ramadan. I know you could break it up, but it would be much better if those are 7 hours of sleep uninterrupted. But I know it could be hard sometimes. And after that, I would just see what times I have left. So after I've scheduled everything, I would probably have like a bit of time before iftar. I would have a time after Tarawih, whatever it may work. Then from that, you can see what time you want to go to the gym, what time you want to study, what time you want to do your work, and all that stuff. So I would honestly pull out a Google Calendar and just schedule it and see what time works for me best. And I did say we're going to talk a bit about the gym as well, because this is very important for me. And I was really struggling to find the best time to go to the gym. But I then came to a conclusion that after Tarawih is the best time to go to the gym. The reason being, you're not full from iftar. So after iftar, you're probably going to be a bit full from eating iftar. And once you finish Tarawih, that food has digested a bit. So you can carb load and you can go to the gym. It's going to be so easy because then you can actually drink water in the gym. You can, have a bit longer workout with no tension and just enjoy your workout. The worst time to go to the gym, in my opinion, would be before iftar, because you have no carbs in your system. You're completely depleted of your energy and you're not going to be able to lift as heavy and you're just going to feel very tired. So personally for me, the time after Tarawih works best. But again, as I said, whatever works for you. I also, instead of like doing 5 days a week in the gym, you can reduce it to 3 and do a full body split, or you can do 4 days a week and do an upper lower split. I wouldn't go 5 to 6 days because it just gets tiring, and you also you need time to recover as well. So honestly, I would just switch it to 2 to 3 days at the gym, full body workout, done. Or if you really want to go 4 days a week, you can do upper lower. But yeah, everyone will have a different schedule. So please, as I said, just time block, check on Google Calendar, see what times you're busy and what times work for you, and just schedule and use it. Now let's come to the next part of the video, which is arguably more important. It's how can you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month? I have a bunch of different things that I wrote over here that can 100% help you get closer to Allah and basically just get better on with your deen. So number one is try praying every salah in the masjid. Now this will increase your iman and also increase your reward, because when you pray in congregation, you obviously get more rewards. So whether that's Fajr, especially Fajr, especially Fajr, go ahead and go to the masjid. And whether that's for any, honestly, for any prayer, just go to the masjid. It doesn't take that long, and just pray. And you're just gonna have that elevation, that sense of feeling where a lot of people are praying together, and you're just gonna feel like, wow, I feel like my iman is getting stronger. The second thing is try to think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every action and change your intention so you can be rewarded. As I said at the start, like, even if you're studying, you can get rewarded for studying if you just change your mindset. So once you start doing that and you start remembering Allah, like if let's say I'm picking up this MacBook and I just say Bismillah, that is going to be enough. If I just continue doing askar, which is like saying astaghfirullah subhanallah, just remembering Allah in small ways, my iman's going to go through the roof, and Allah is just going to be very happy with me. Number 3 is to research and learn about your deen and different aspects of your deen, and basically so that you can become more knowledgeable. A YouTube channel that I would really recommend you guys watch is called Muslim Lantern, and he basically, like, non-Muslims or like even other Muslims come onto his like call and ask him questions, and I've learned so much from that guy that if anyone's like asking me something, I can reply with the exact hadith or like exact like view from the scholars because I watch his videos. I would 100% recommend you go check him out, and may Allah bless him for the work he does. It is absolutely amazing, and I've learned a lot of knowledge just from his videos. Another very important way that you can get closer to Allah is by reading the Quran every single day. Ideally, what I like to do is read a page or two after every salah. So like I finish my salah, I read Ayat al-Kursi, because there's a hadith that says if someone reads Ayat al-Kursi after a fard prayer, there's nothing between him and Jannah except death. So basically it means that if you die after and you said Ayat al-Kursi after your fourth prayer, you're gonna go directly to Jannah. Now once I'm done doing that, I'll do some askar, and then I'll read a page or two of the Quran, and that just helps me stay closer to Allah. Even before sleeping, I read Surah Mulk. Like, just like reading Quran will be more than enough to get you closer to Allah. A very underrated way to get closer to Allah is also praying every single sunnah and nafil prayer, and tahajjud as well, but I'll come to that in a bit. When you pray sunnah and nafil prayers, there's a hadith from Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that says that Allah told us, my servant keeps drawing closer to me with voluntary deeds until I love him. So every extra rakah you pray in Ramadan, with that sunnah or nafil, it's not small. You're being rewarded for that, and you're getting much more closer to Allah in that time when you do that. Tahajjud is very important as well, and I think Ramadan is the easiest month where you can start praying tahajjud. The reason I say this is you're gonna wake up for suhoor to eat something anyways. Now there's obviously gonna be time between suhoor and fajr, so like that small time between suhoor and fajr, you can just go ahead and pray tahajjud, and that will help you get closer. Not only just help you get closer to Allah, but it will improve your quality of life so much, because you can ask Allah for whatever you want in that, and you're gonna end up getting it. So please, and even if you don't get it, it's gonna be replaced for something that is better for you. So please, if you have the time between suhoor and fajr, do not skip out on tahajjud prayer. It is so important, even though it's not necessary. It's not like fard. If you pray it, I promise you, it's gonna be the best thing in the world. Also, I want to say this: at every single small step that you take to get closer to Allah, it will help you get rid of any sins or bad habits that you had. The reason I say this is, I don't know if it's a hadith or if it's like just a story or whatever, is that if you're committing a sin, do not leave your salah, like especially your first salah. Like if you're committing a sin, still pray. Because a sinner who doesn't pray is way worse than a sinner who prays. And also, once you start praying as a sinner, like every time you pray, something's going to change inside your heart, and you're going to stop that sin. The reason the salah has enough power to get you away from whatever sin you're in. So if you sin, please go ahead and pray. Never miss out on your fard prayers. Honestly, I used to struggle with this a lot. I used to not pray properly. I used to get lazy in fajr and whatnot. But now, especially ever since Ramadan started, I've been tracking every single one of my prayers and just trying to get all 5, including voluntary and sunnahs. So please do your best And even if you're sinning, do not leave your prayer. Your prayer is the most important thing in the world. Anyways, that is it for today. I really hope that you guys have an amazing Ramadan, and just like use it to your, like, Ramadan comes once every year. Come on, you, if this is the month, if you're gonna get a month to change your life, this is that month, because you can get closer to Allah, you can build discipline, you can just have so much success that you don't realize. All you have to do is take benefit or take advantage of this Ramadan. And if you start doing that, I promise you, your life will completely change. So that's it. I mean, I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel right anywhere over here, and check out 2 of these videos. I'll see you with another video very soon. Take care and goodbye. Assalamu alaikum.